Hi, I'm Jake Landfair, real estate appraiser, real estate broker, and we're going to talk about real estate seasons, the best time to buy, sell, refinance, and we're going to get into that real quick. We're going to talk about all of the factors that come into play. Just a second. So first, you need to understand what real estate seasons are. They're not just weather related. So you could be in a climate that is just perfect all year, like Miami or something, and you're going to see that the seasons, there's still seasons in real estate, and that might be related to the holidays. It could be related to a school or the rates going down. An example of a school is there might be a community in a good school district where everybody buys and everybody sells when that school lets out in the summertime. And then you can have a retirement community where they're not really part of the school district, and their season is totally different. It might be more dependent on global swings and rates, and it could be weather dependent as well. So this is a graph of what you're going to see in real estate, and you're going to see in July, the average price goes up quite a bit, and then in the winter, January, it goes down. Now, that does not mean that the same house that sells in July for $400 will sell for $350 in December. It doesn't mean that at all. And I'll explain that in the next graph. What you're seeing here is you're going to see this steady stream of little old lady homes that they pass away. They're usually outdated, and they're happening 3 sales every month, just in and out, January, February, March, July. And you're going to see these typical sales that are the normal homes you think of that are being sold. They're timing the market right, and you're going to see this huge influx in July. So what's happening is in January, there's an overrepresentation of distressed sales occurring in those winter months. It doesn't mean that this house in July that's a typical market would actually sell less in January necessary. It's a broad market data. So yes, when you see this broad market data, you're going to see that dip like I showed you in this graph in January, and you're going to see this rise in July, but that doesn't necessarily mean the house is going to go up or down on those seasons. So if you see unit sales go up to almost 5,000 in July in this market I'm in, and then if you go down in the winter, it's half that. And those estate sales or distressed sales remain constant throughout the year. So that's pulling down that broad market data. So these graphs are going to be important in understanding when is the best time to sell. So first off, if the rates go down, it's probably a good time to buy or sell. They might not stay down. I would say if they're going to lower rates, there's probably some type of economic chaos that has just happened, and they're now trying to manipulate the markets or improve the markets from whatever's happening. Like when you saw the mortgage crash in 2008, they dropped the rates because something was crazy with the economy. So if the rates do dip, I would say, yeah, you should buy or sell, but there might be something going on. There might be huge unemployment or some type of situation I can't foresee right now that maybe prevents you from doing that. So generally speaking, though, the best time to sell is March to September for most houses. You get away from the holidays, the weather's warm, you're following a school schedule, and this is just going to be the best time for you to sell for the highest number of buyers as well. So you're going to get out on the market. Not to say that you can't sell in the winter. It might actually be a good idea to sell in the winter if you have a unique home and you don't want all of these other homes competing against you in March, April, May, and June, July. So the best time to buy, generally, you're going to have 2 situations you have to choose. Do you want to have a lot of options? March and September, you're going to have much more choices, but you're also going to have a lot of competition. Now, if you want to buy in October through February, you will have less competition, and maybe you want to buy a fixer-up. Maybe you want to buy one of those outdated, I call them little old lady homes, and you want to put some sweat equity into them. Then you might want to buy in winter. You're going to have less competition, and you probably will get a better deal. So it really depends what you're looking for. If you're not finding what you want in winter, the best time to buy might be to wait until the spring, summer selling season. Usually the best time to refinance is going to be the end of summer, fall, and winter, actually, because I'm using comparable sales to value your home that occurred in the last 12 months. I prefer to stay in 6 months or 3 months, but I don't have to. I can go back a year for any lending program, FHA, VA, whatever, USDA, conventional. So what happens is you get this bump in March and April, May, June, July of all these high sales. So if you're refinancing right at March, I don't have those sales yet, but they're just about to occur. I might have some listings. And if you don't need that high value, then don't worry about it. Just do your refinance anytime. But if you're really waiting for that market to increase from the spring and summer selling season, you want to wait till after those sales happen so I can use them. Now, if the market's gone up a lot more than you need to, like I said earlier, just do it whenever, because I could be doing your appraisal in January, December. I can use sales from last May. So if those values are high enough for you, try to do it. Thanks for watching. I hope that explains some seasonality in real estate.